we just mentioned. Of course, 2020 presidential candidate, former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, first, there seems to be this palpable concern, not just among the Dems, but all their media boosters about Biden and Harris. So they're leapfrogging kind of both to go right to Wonder Boy. What do you think about this?
Yeah, Laura, well, first of all, this Washington Post article is just another example of how the mainstream media is essentially the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party elite. It doesn't really matter kind of how they're ranking these people, because ultimately we know that they'll never nominate anybody or promote anybody who, believes in and supports the Constitution or Bill of Rights. They'll never nominate anybody who doesn't toe the line with their woke cancel culture, pushing their policies, things like taking away parents' rights, making sure that they have open borders and canceling our free speech as Americans. They'll never nominate anybody who doesn't bow to the interests of the military-industrial complex. And so, you mentioned we're 15 months into this administration. We're going to keep seeing more articles like this from the mainstream media as they push different candidates or promote people that they like. And we've just got to know every time we see this, this is propaganda coming from the Democratic Party elite.
I think people are just discounting all of this at this point. And that's why to hear them in the media so upset over the last few days about the Republicans finally pulling out of these obscene debates was just laughable. You got completely hosed in the debates, as I recall.
Yeah.
And I think you said something at the time on stage like, hello, I'm here. What's your reaction to the decision by the RNC to say no thanks?
Yeah, I don't blame them. As you said, having been on that stage and hearing, kind of the rhetoric coming from the organizers and the mainstream media news channels they partner with, like, oh, this is going to be fair, this is unbiased, all the candidates will get an equal shot. Like, that's BS, Laura. I think on average, on every debate that I participated in, usually they went 2 hours. Maybe I got 7 total minutes of talk time on there. And so, to say that this is an unbiased, service to the American people, upholding our democracy, it's nonsense. Really what it is political theater that's being organized by the propaganda arm of this, permanent Washington establishment, the Democratic Party elite. And so, good for the Republican Party for walking away. By the way, looking at the things the Republican Party was asking for, very reasonable requests. Very reasonable request. And the fact that they rejected them kind of shows their hand about their bias.
No, Tulsi, they're just fanatics. What's your reaction to Chris Coons actually floating the idea of American troops on the ground in Ukraine, Tulsi? What are your thoughts on that?
It is incredibly dangerous for a U.S. Senator to push this idea. There are so many issues with this. Number one, Congress has not debated. The American people have not had their chance to say that this is what they want or they don't want. So they're defying the Constitution, even putting this forward. Number two, how does it serve our interests as the United States? How does it serve our national security? It does not. It will undermine it. I think of my brothers and sisters in uniform who would be the ones whose lives that are put on the line in what would essentially kick off World War III and a direct challenge to nuclear-armed Russia, risking nuclear war. That's exactly what he's proposing, and everyone should be very clear-eyed as they hear this kind of rhetoric coming from Washington.
Well, a lot of people thinking it's the drip, drip, drip. Tulsi, it's great to see you. Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.